Hi everyone, in this video we are going through a demo of Barcode to Cloud application. This is available for iOS and Android. For this demo, I'll be demonstrating it in an iPad just so that you can see the demo in a big screen, but the features are exactly the same for iOS and Android. So let's quickly go into the application. So basically, this application needs some initial configuration, and as part of this configuration, first you need to connect to Salesforce, and then you have to configure a connector. Once these two steps are done, you will be able to execute different actions in Salesforce just by scanning barcodes. So I am going to pull up the application. So this is how the application is going to look like when you initially log into the application. It will ask you to connect to Salesforce and then configure the scanner. I am going to connect to my Salesforce login. So mine is a developer edition. So this security token is required only if your IP addresses are not whitelisted. Usually your IP may not be whitelisted. In my case, I have whitelisted the IPs, so I don't need to give security token. So now when I click Save Connection, if the credentials are valid, it will successfully connect to Salesforce and save the credential details. And then the next step is to configure the scanner. So in this demo, we'll be configuring the scanner to do a number of business requirements. Let me quickly touch on that. So if you check here, the first use case that we are going to cover is that of a warehouse where we receive shipments, and along with receiving the shipments, the user wants to enter a note about the shipment. Say that is the use case. To support this, I have in the same Salesforce instance, I have created two shipment records. Both of these shipments are in transit status. When these shipments are scanned in using these tracking numbers as QR codes, I want to update this receiving time and notes. And I also want to update the status to received. So let's see how to achieve that in this using this app. So I am going to my app. I'm going to click configure scanner. So in this case, in order to meet this use case, I want to update the shipment record in Salesforce, right? So I have already selected this. It is showing this as selected because I just did this before the video recording. So next, when I click next, I want to track shipments. I want to scan the incoming shipments by the tracking number. Basically, I will be getting the tracking numbers as QR codes to scan, and I want to display the status as user input. So when user is scanning this report, this will prompt the user to make a selection. And then the next one is receiving time. It will default to current time, and the notes is also a text area field that also will be user input. So I am going to save this configuration. Now if I go to my scanner, I have QR codes ready for two of these tracking numbers. So I am going to scan these QR codes. Oh, but before scanning, let me pull it up. Okay, so I have scanned one of the QR codes. Now if you see here, you can see that it has found the record using the XYZ barcode, which was our second shipment, I guess. Yeah, it was this shipment. So it has pulled that records details in the app, and it is pulled the status. So if I want to just mark it as received, I will do like this and say I want to say good. So now when I save this data will get saved to Salesforce, and this corresponding shipment record should be updated now. So here you can see that the record is updated within my notes that I have entered. So then we will do the same scan for another record. So I am going to the screen share again, and I am going to scan another record. So I'm going to scan the first QR code. So when I scan this QR code, you can see that it has pulled up this other shipment record, and this is also retrieving the previous status. So I want to update this also to the same. This is caching the values from the previous scan. So say this shipment is not in good condition, right? So I want to say has issues, right? So I have entered the value, and you can see that depending on the type of the field defined in Salesforce, it will display the correct input type. For example, status has these values in Salesforce, and in the app also the same values will be displayed. And so when I save this should get saved in Salesforce. So at this point now we have scanned both the shipment tracking numbers. Now if I go to shipment and refresh, I should be able to see both shipments in received status, and both has notes updated. So this is a good example of how we can receive shipments at a warehouse using this application and update the data to Salesforce. So now say you don't want to enter these notes every time, you just want to automatically scan and set the value as received. That is also doable in the app. Say if you don't want to populate any note, and if you always want to update the status as received when you scan at a warehouse, you can configure it to do that. But before that, let me clear some of these values from the fields. I'm going to put it back to in transit. Yeah, so I have cleared the records and I have put it to the previous status. So now we are going to show how we can continuously scan, especially when there is no user input required, right? We can just continuously scan the records. So for this, I will again come to the application, go to the scanner configuration, and I'm going to edit the scanner configuration. I still want to update the existing record. It's a shipment record, and I want to find the record by tracking number. But this time I don't want the status to be user input. Instead, I just want to update it always with the fixed value of received. So when I select it as fixed value, I can select it as received here. And receiving time is current time. And I don't really want these notes because I am going to scan it continuously and automatically. So I have done the configuration, and then next, when I go to next, here there is an option to scan continuously. I'm going to save that, select that, and then I'm going to save the configuration. So now here in the scanner configuration, you can see that it is still finding the shipment record by the tracking number, but now there is no user input. It's directly updating status with the fixed value and directly populating the receiving time. So now if I go to the scanner and scan, you can see that it has scanned the first record, but immediately it opened the second scanner. So at this point I have scanned both records, and if I cancel, I can exit out of it. So this was basically continuous scans. And now if you go to Salesforce and refresh the shipments, you can see that both records are updated to received, and the times are also updated in the record. So that's how this record can be used for a continuous scanning of records. And that basically covers the scenario. Basically, when shipments are received at a warehouse, you will find the shipments by the QR code tracking number, and then we'll update the status. So this is basically demonstrating that this app is very configurable. You can configure it to do any use case. I will cover a couple more use cases, but before that, I want to highlight that we can share configurations that you have created in the app. So here, everything is driven by the configuration, right? So you can create your own configuration and share it with the other team members. So if you go here you can see that there is a configuration to do the continuous scanning currently, right? If I want to share, I can just click share and say I can send it as email or some other mechanism to my teammates who wants to use the same configuration, and then they will be able to come and just import the configuration. So as a demo of that, we'll be showing the next use case. So for the next use cases, I have created the configuration ahead of time. Basically, I went through the same steps and I created the configuration. So for this case, I am going to find an account by matching account number, and then I want to provide user the ability to edit these records in account. So I have the configuration for this already. If you come here, I will just delete and import the configuration. But before I go there, I want to switch to the account tab here. So if you see the first record, right, it has account number as ACC123. I have a barcode defined to match that use case, and I will scan that. Then automatically it should pull this record and it should let me edit the values we have configured. Let's do that. So I am going to switch my Ops application, and I have the configuration here already. So this is the configuration. I am going to copy this configuration. I am going to delete this existing configuration, and I am going to import the configuration that I have just copied. So I just come here, click import, and paste it here. Now when I click import configuration here, you can see that the configuration is saved. So I didn't have to go through each of the individual 4 steps in the configuration. This is how you can share a configuration JSON with someone else in your team. You basically share it through email or some other mechanism, and they come to their application and just click import. So in this case, this configuration is saying find an account where account number equal to the scanned barcode, and then display these fields to the user, and wherever it is user input, allow the user to edit the values. So we are going to try that out. I am going to pull up my scanner and scan the barcode. Here you can see that I have scanned the record, and it automatically found the matching account from Salesforce, and it displayed the values to me that are existing in the Salesforce record. And it will let me update the values as well. Also based on if it is a pick list, it will display the pick list options available in Salesforce. So I am going to update this account as one, and I want to populate a parent ID. If you remember account fields, this is a lookup field, and you have the ability to update lookups also here. So this is a test account, so I am going to populate the parent account field here as the gene point account. So I have updated the parent ID. Now I'm going to save it. So this data is saved now. Now if I go to my account record, this should get updated as swarm when I refresh, and this parent account also should get populated. So I am refreshing, and you can see that these 2 updates have come to Salesforce. So that's how you can import a configuration. We will quickly go through a couple more configurations that I have predefined just to highlight some use cases. So if we go to the next use case, this is a sample of how we can track attendances at a marketing event. So basically we have a registration custom object, and that has some details about the candidate who is attending the event, and then it has a status field, and initially it will be in the registered status. We want to update this as attended when the user comes with a QR code. Say for example, for this use case, right, when the user is registered for these events, you email them with some unique identifier as a QR code. Say in my case, I have QR codes prepared for these 2, and when I scan these things, it should pull up the record and let me update this registration status as say attended, right? So if I come here, this registration status has values like attended, cancel. So if someone is coming to the event with the QR code, more like a ticket as a QR code, right? They are coming with it. I will scan it, find the corresponding registration, and update the status. So now I'm going to import the configuration to do that. Next step is to import the configuration from my nodes. So this is my registration configuration. I'm going to copy the whole configuration. So these are valid configurations that I have exported from the app earlier. So that's why I can easily import it without double checking. So I'm going to paste the configuration, and then now I'm going to import the configuration. So here you can see that it is going to find a registration record where the name auto number field is matching the barcode. So in my case, I am assuming the ticket QR code that I have emailed out corresponds to the auto number name field in the registration custom object, and it will let the user edit these fields. So let me pull up some sample registration QR codes, and we will start scanning. So it has scanned the first registration. So basically, think of it like scanning someone's event ticket, right? And once you have scanned it, is pulling corresponding details from the record. And say you want to mark this user as attending, right? So you just select attended and you click save. And now if you come here and refresh this page, you should see John Doe's registration as attended. So if I come to related, so here you can see that John Doe has marked as attended. We'll quickly scan the second QR code also and update the second user as attended. So the second QR code is scanned now. I just pull the details of Tom user, and since it is caching, it is showing the previous value. I'm going to mark it as updated, and I'm going to save it. So it has saved the records to Salesforce. Now if I come here and refresh this page again, I should be able to see that the second contact is also, second registration is also updated as attended. So this is how you can use this for tracking event attendance. Then we'll quickly cover one more use case. So this is a simple use case more for a demo purpose. But what we are doing here is like we can simply send the scanned value to Salesforce as a chat of course. Technically, this is probably not that useful if you want to do some custom complex logic, right? Say you are scanning a barcode and you want to operate on multiple records. Technically, you can send the data to a platform event and then write a trigger on the platform event to do complex multi-object actions if you need. Or the same is true for any objects, right? You can send the data to some custom object and populate the data there. And then when this update is coming, you can fire a trigger there and do operations on many other related or unrelated object records. So I will quickly show how we can post the scanned barcode to Chatter. So for this, again, we need to create one more configuration. To save time, again, I am going to import another saved configuration. So Chatter posts are basically feed items. Okay. And I am going to import the copied configuration. So now the configuration is imported. What it is saying is when a QR code is scanned or barcode is scanned, create a feed item record with the chat. The feed item is nothing but a chat, of course, with the text as the barcode that is being scanned, and the user ID as and the parent ID as the user who scanned. So this will go in the wallet of the user who is scanning. So now I am going to scanner again, scan the record. So this is a URL. So you can see that since there are no user input, it directly saved the data because there is no need of a user input here, right? And you can see that green check mark means it is successfully completed. And if you go to the demo user account I have logged in, and if I refresh the chatter post section, we should see that the new post has come here. So that kind of concludes our demo. So we went through a number of use cases, but at a high level, we have the ability to configure the scanner to do different things, and you can meet a wide range of business use cases simply by using this scanner application. This is a free application to get started, but for unlimited scans, you will be charged with a monthly fee. Please try out the application.